Greetings. You are listening to Keeping in Touch with My People here on WSTX AM 970. You already know numbers here. 340-773-0390, 340-773-0490. Of course, I am your host, Elizabeth Hanson Watley, right here on the beautiful big island of St. Croix. Yes. There was a lot going on this week. Of course, we are well within the season of the politics. We are in a season of all kinds of changes on the mainland. There's a lot going on, and we're going to bring it all to you here on Keeping in Touch with My People. Of course, we start out here with our birthdays. We'll get that on for you shortly, but let's do birthdays. Happy birthday blessings going out to all of you who celebrated this week. And of course, for those who we are keeping up in our memories that are not physically here anymore, just remembering the blessings that we had to have them here. But happy birthday from Keeping in Touch and WSTX AM 970. Let's go. Yep.
Feel the vibration, lines of light, feeling alright. We're dancing, feeling all day life. Happy birthday celebration. Everybody get the temptation. Once again, this is your night, and everyone feels like happy birthday to you. May all your dreams come true. Sing happy birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. This is your birthday song. Celebration all night long. Dreams come true. We sing all together. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday. Happy birthday to all of you celebrating. May God continue to bless you as you go along this journey called life. Yes. So we're going to run a commercial here for you right now. Of course, like I said, we are getting heated up here as the political season is getting nearer and nearer. Of course, there are no official candidates yet. However, we do have our aspirant list out, and make sure that you go through it, see who you'd like to support. Of course, within the first week of June, we'll find out who are actually certified candidates, and we're moving forward from there. And thank you guys so much. But yeah, let's go.
Greetings. I am Elizabeth Hanson Watley. A senator not only controls the purse strings of the government, but advocates on your behalf when you need answers. Schools shuttered, unaffordable utility bills, poor health care, lack of resources for seniors, veterans, and the disabled community. We all know the issues. And unlike those who claim that you vote just because of fish fry, I know that you vote based on the good sense God gave you. I am stepping up to represent you as your senator. Please join me on Election Day. Push! Elizabeth Hanson Watley.
Yes. We have started this journey, and I am excited. But I want to tell you guys, thank you guys so much for coming out. Last week we had our soup sale. It went extremely well. I got to meet many of you. You guys we had our little drive-through going on. You were driving through, grabbing your soups, and then sending people and sending them back. Once you tasted the soup, I want to give a special thank you to Emily Hansen, Pat James, Edwin Thomas, Kompai, The juices that we had, the natural juices, Compay and Pat James. We had the goat water, the red pea soup, the chicken soup. We had the bowl foot soup from Miss Julian. You know, red pea soup, Emily. It was just amazing, amazing. I thank you all so much for coming out and supporting us on this journey. It also tells me that you believe in this journey that we are on, and I absolutely appreciate that you all came out and supported our very first event and gave those kind words and blessings and everything. And thank God we were able to do extremely well. And we had special demand. Y'all want more soup? You want more soup? Well, listen. Friday we'll be back out there. We're gonna be out there a little later, about 5:30 on Friday. Just because y'all keep calling, no, I can't get all the soups because these are specialty soups. But we will have chicken soup and we'll have some goat water. Y'all ran me down for all the soups. But again, this is such short notice. I said I'm gonna comply and get what I can get. But Friday night we'll be down at the brew house again. We'll have some treats there for you guys. Of course, we have the local drinks as well, to make sure that we can appease those of you who can't get enough. But y'all got to give me a chance, because this thing ain't even start yet, and y'all pushing, pushing. Listen, remember, I am not in the primary, right? I am not a part of the Democratic primary. That primary takes place all the way in August, and so I don't want to you know y- overshadow anyone here in the primary. I want to be able to give them their opportunity to have their time to speak to you all, to engage with you all, and then of course, then after they have picked their selection of seven, then we move forward. But of course, I have to have some engagement with you all throughout the journey. So Friday we'll be out there from 5:30, and y'all come out, mingle, let's chill. Y'all know I love to have a good time. I love to be debated. If you have questions for me, come find me, you know. And I'm encouraging all these organizations that are interested in our community and pushing our community forward in a positive way. Go ahead and establish your events. I see that there is a promotion right now from West Gyal, who is going to be having, in collaboration with some other partners, levels, and so forth, having a meet and greet for candidates. Great opportunity. I want to thank them for that. We're still checking to see we our team is available, but I would encourage everyone who can set up these avenues where our community can meet the candidates to go ahead and do that. Don't be afraid to set up something and have us be engaged, and so that you can have the community have these conversations with us. I look forward to it. I miss the days of debates. I love debates. I love being able to be challenged mentally, intellectually. I'm here for it, and like I say up front, I'm not a computer. I don't know the answers to every single thing. However, I'm transparent. If I'm not aware of a subject matter, I'm going to let you know that I'm not aware. However, I'm going to do my research. It doesn't end there. But I look forward again to being able to be engaged in that way. So Friday night we'll be hanging out there at the Brew House down in Five Corners Plaza in St. Croix, and y'all will find me there. We're gonna have a few soups, not all the full menu, but y'all came at me talking about I need to have these soup again. So we're gonna put something together for you. However, I'll be there. The team will be there. We'll be able to engage with you. Bounce ideas, listen to what you have to say, and engage. And I look forward to it. So I'm just so elated. And I'm gonna tell you this. I've been having an amazing journey so far going through this process. I know that we aren't full officially started yet. However, just having the interactions with the community, the pats on the back, words of encouragement and prayers. I appreciate y'all so much for just encouraging me, right? Checking on me, and my dad, the children, everybody, the family asking me the questions about if I'm good, how do I feel, make sure you keep up with your health, make sure you're in a good mental state. And so I appreciate all of those words, and y'all just showing me that you're also sensitive to me as a human being, because oftentimes in this kind of arena, people forget that you're human and that you go through things as well. But I'm gonna grab these calls. I'm trying to be better at this thing. Greetings, you are on Keeping in Touch. Please turn your radio down. You're on live.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed for another sunrise in paradise.
Awesome, awesome.
I thought you weren't going to answer. I thought I was going to be put on hold.
Well, I have been scolded about putting people on hold too long, because I like to my mouth running. I guess it's when you have been in a corner so long and just listening, you have so much more to share. But yeah, what's on your mind this morning?
Well, yes, I'm very passionate. What's on my mind is the race has been officially begun, and the contestants are now on the field. But they still tend to line up because June 2nd is when the supervisor election is going to have
Our official
candidates
list.
certified.
Right.
Correct?
Correct. So we're not official yet, and of course, some people have also had notices that they won't be a part of this group for whatever reasons that have come up. I know I've seen some of them broadcast out on the news. Yes, so it's not official until June 2nd. I look forward to the date. And I hope that we have a good group of people that have our home first in mind, to push us forward, people that have those skills and come with those. Um, I think bare minimum, you have to have a heart for this place. I don't care what credentials you have. If you don't care about people, you're not going to be good at this. That's my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I put out a challenge to all the aspirants.
Okay, what's that
Um,
challenge?
The challenge is this. I have noticed an individual
Mm-hmm.
at the Bombiju Shanti. It's like a whole entire household is there, suitcases and bags.
Mm.
I passed that individual several times, but one day I decided, because it was the first time I actually saw the person.
Okay.
Usually I would just see a person huddled under a blanket or some kind of covering.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really interacted, and I don't know what got in me. I just decided, okay, I'm going to park my car there. Actually began a conversation. Turned out, according to her, she's a mother. I don't know
Okay.
what trauma she's experiencing. I asked her help. I gave her money.
Mm.
And I told her, what can I do? What if she has looked into housing? I have someone who might be able to talk to her about the housing situation. So I brought a friend who has went through a similar situation,
Right.
basically homeless, and that helped. Going to public housing authority in RDS.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. But when I brought this friend, her reaction was different.
Oh.
Her demeanor, her body language. So we later discussed she apparently has suffered trauma. She's more willing to be approached by a female than a male.
Mm. Okay.
And but anyway, I would like for aspirants and anyone to go there and find out what's the situation. and what assistance that they can offer. I'm
I think
here
one
to
of the
defend.
things to keep in mind with, especially with females,
Hmm.
is that many females have gone through sexual assault, they've gone through being abused and even shunned when they look for help. And so they're very sensitive to who, hears their story, who's in their personal space, and so forth. So you have to be very careful about that. We also have a mental illness problem in this community that I feel is being ignored. And it didn't just start now. It's been for many years. As long as I've known myself, I know my mother engaged in trying to get assistance. She even got money to get a mental um, health hospital, not hospital, but facility in the Anna Hope area. Of course, after that, other senators decided they had better use for the monies for this facility, and it never was built. And so we have this plaguing problem that is now compounded as we have more pressures in our economy to feed families, to have a sound shelter for your family. And what people aren't, I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to is we're seeing more women on these streets. That was not something we used to see commonly in the Virgin Islands. This was something that we would see a lot of males. A lot of them were, have PTSD from the military and so forth. That's a whole other ball game. But we didn't see much women in this kind of situation where they're sleeping in bus stops and so forth. And then in such a short space of time, I'm seeing three and four of them walking, pulling suitcases, this kind of stuff. And I had the same questions you have. Is anybody approaching these individuals? Anybody asking any questions? What's taking place where we have women, and women have their, personal bodily situation as well. You have your cycle and all of these things is and then you're vulnerable. You're in the dark sometimes by yourself, walking on these in these rural areas. So we have a big issue that people seem to ignore until it touches their personal families, and I
Well,
think it's wrong.
you're very perceptive because we have different interaction, and we both of us concluded, we could be wrong,
Hmm.
not professional psychologists or counselor, but we concluded this person had trauma from a male.
Hmm.
So she's not trusting of males. She's more receptive to a female.
Right.
And we're saying that I thought, okay, when I first spoke to her, she sounded lucid
Hmm.
and very articulate. Now, when he spoke to her and tried to get her name so he could maybe go to human services or wherever with the information, she said her name was God. And I'm like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
The person is apparently experiencing mental illness
Hmm.
because, and the trust factor. And so we're like,
It could be
we're
too
gonna
as a
just bring
safety
it to the
mechanism.
airwaves. Some people, want to just brush it aside, cover it up. They don't want to put things on Facebook because it makes the Virgin Islands look bad. But I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it, and at the same time,
Hmm.
I don't want to promote this place as the worst place ever on the planet.
Well, we're far from that, but we do have issues just like every other jurisdiction, you know?
Yes, and I was saying though, you can demonstrate humanity. I'm hearing there's a march for Jesus Christ, and I'm putting it out there. Ladies, people, I'm not knocking them. Let me make that clear. I respect everybody's right to worship whatever, whomever. But I'm like, what about humanity? You know,
Hmm.
you're talking about saving people to go to heaven, but here it is right here on the earth, right in front of your face. Demonstrate humanity. And
Yeah.
as far as the political race, how I analyze it, the simplest race contest, because you have several races, is the one for the at large. I see
Well,
three
I'm happy you
options.
brought up the at large.
Three options is either you pick one or the other. So the
Hmm.
people got 50-50 chance.
Right.
Two, you don't pick none. And three, writing somebody. But at least, like you always say, go vote.
Hmm.
Go and vote. Now, the toughest one for me actually is the senatorial race because of the sheer number of candidates, and they're good candidates. There are good candidates so far. I'm impressed, with, especially with the young ones, the aspirants,
Hmm.
and I'm not being gender biased, but I want a balance. I'm not voting because somebody is a female, but I do want to see a balance in the legislature. So for me, I don't like down to a science. I voted for
Well, well,
four females and three males. Okay?
well, me,
Gender
I have a
equality,
mindset of,
but seven is not an even number. Just like with the large thing, because I'm hearing people talk about St. Thomas have more representation, which is a false narrative. Because the at large, everybody gets to vote for that person.
yeah, but let's break it down here quite quickly. How many districts do we have?
Two,
Two. One district is St. Thomas St. John. That's one district. How
right?
many votes do they have?
Huh?
How many votes does the St. Thomas St. John district have?
They got seven district senators.
No, no, no. St. Thomas St. John district. We're talking about the first branch of government here, just so that
Okay,
everybody
they have
understands. In the Saint, we have two districts: the St. Croix
right.
district, and we have the St. Thomas St. John
Okay,
district. So in the St. Thomas St. John district, as far as legislative candidates, how many spots do they have? How many votes, if they're elected when they're done, how many votes do they have? How many senators do they have from their district?
okay. I'm not sure I understand the question, but if what I'm hearing
If
you
St.
saying,
Croix
okay,
has
eight.
seven,
Are you saying eight?
I'm not telling you eight. What I'm asking you is we're going to
Mm-hmm.
do the simple math. If you have two districts, you have the St. Croix districts, how many senators does St. Croix have?
Sequoia has seven.
Correct. You have St. Thomas St. John district is one district. How
Right.
many senators do they have?
Well, technically it's seven, but
No,
the person
technically
putting the
it's
St.
not
Thomas St.
seven.
John district
It's one
could
district, so how
also
could it be
come.
seven?
Yeah, it could be, which a lot of people understand. You could be a bona fide resident of St.
Wait, educator,
John
let's go
and
back. We
run.
didn't ask about which island they're living on or any of that. We're just talking about the two districts. One district has seven and one district has eight. Am I correct?
Yeah, if you look at it
Okay,
that way.
that's basics. So, however we wanted to break it down is irrelevant. At the end of the day, one district does have an extra vote. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
We could say they get the vote from here, but technically it doesn't even matter because the person has to be out of the next district.
Right.
So they have eight votes and Synchrony has seven. We know that. And that's why there are some of us who would have preferred that everybody runs at large. That means you get your votes
Thank you.
across the board,
And I know
and I
your
can
mother
hold you to
supported that.
account.
They, all of them at last. So we're gonna have this thing about
Yeah,
St. Thomas
and
and
not only
more.
that, that means that I can hold you accountable for the decisions you make that affect me. Because let's be real, when you get into the first branch of government, the decisions that you make affects all Virgin Islanders, not just
Thank
who are in
you.
your district. So
I'm glad you're not afraid to speak out.
yeah,
I'm glad
but
you're
I
not
mean, we
jumping on
could
the
try and we
bandwagon.
could hide
Yeah,
from
but the
it, but we know what
solution
it
to
is.
make the marginalized benefits is reapportionment, which in actuality what they're saying is this. We want, this is what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
We want to pick from registered people that live in registered. Well, I have news for them. This island is 84 square miles. I have to drive into Frederickston. I have resident families living in Frederickston. I have lived in Frederickston, and whatever happens in Frederickston impacts me because it's only 84 square miles. So this mindset that these people, these certain special residents of Frederickston are entitled. Okay, the whole island needs to fix up, not just Frederickston. But this is mindset for me. I don't. It's not acceptable to me.
I
Like there's
think
some
that
special group of people.
I think that what people need to understand is us separating ourselves hasn't done us much good. Some people talk about having less representation. In my
Oh no,
mind, it doesn't make any sense to have less. Every place else wants more representation. Why
the
would
more
you
the
want
merrier.
less people to fight on your behalf? Now, saying that somebody's better suited for you because they're out of your neighborhood, it doesn't make any sense because you could have everybody in your neighborhood that's not willing to fight for you. We have historically seen senators that fight for everyone, no matter if you're in their district, the other district, it doesn't make a difference. They fight for the people. I would never want someone who's only interested in helping a few Virgin Islanders, and then we have to think on, we think it's an easier race because only five of us live in this area and
Right.
so forth. But
That's what
then,
it is. It would be easier, but then
but
it
then
will
think about
sometimes me.
think
If
about
I
the
am not
other
a resident
districts
of
that you have
Frederickston,
and other locations and how much power they might have, right? Then you might turn around and say, well, I vote for Johnny, but Johnny ain't saying nothing. But you stuck with Johnny for 2 years, right? Your area ain't get no help because the other location have a powerhouse and they're going for everything. And then you upset for your 2 years, you're behind the eight ball. No, we need more togetherness on our island
I agree.
and within the Virgin Islands because, like I said before, the decisions made by the first branch of government affects all of us, and it's long standing. I mean, we look around. Let's see what's going on right now. And what's going on with healthcare with our hospitals. And I want to tell you, Al, I went to the hospital. I had a caller that called me last week Saturday and spoke about the elevator not working, and that people had to use a stairwell to get up to the upper floors in a hospital. I went to check it out myself. I told y'all already, I don't go based on hearsay and stuff. If you tell me about something, I want to do my best to investigate it. I did go. The elevator is not working. Okay. I went up the stairwell to see what the experience was in there. And the railing is also broken. And how did I figure out the railing was broken? Because I tried to use the railing and I felt the railing move. And I looked down and it's not sealed, it's broken. And then there is a small piece of caution tape wrapped around the little section. So I'm very much curious to find out who is in charge of not only the maintenance, but who is lacking the ability to make such a repair, and how
Who
we
is
can have
accountable?
how we can have a
Who should
hospital
be
without an
held
elevator working.
accountable? And I'm glad you did that because the hospital is located. There's only one hospital on the island, I think.
Correct.
It's located in Christiansted. If you live in Frederickston and you need care, emergency care,
Hold the
they
line.
have
Hold the line one
ambulances. That's
second.
where you have to go.
Hold the line 1 second for me. Greetings.
Hello?
Yes, hold the line for me, please. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes, back with you. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I said the hospital is located in
Christian Stead.
Christian.
Yeah.
Mid Island, we could say, actually. And if anybody needs to go to the hospital, what difference does it make whether you elect a person from registered or not? You all have to go there. The public services is for everybody, regardless of what part of the island you live. Public safety, health, education. It's for the entire territory.
I think
Now,
that one of
there
the
could be some
issues we have,
arguments.
one of the issues we have is we're so concerned about what somebody else is gonna get. When we're in a situation with all of us in the pot, you know how you put in your you put in your seafood in the pot and you're cooking it on a low heat, and so they're not jumping out because it's on a low heat. They don't realize they're being cooked. We trying to say, put me on the left side of the pot, put me on the right side of the pot, and all of us in the pot boiling. It makes no sense. We need to be focusing on the fact that we don't have a hospital that we can run to that is able to service us on a certain level, quality of healthcare. And I'm not saying it's a lack
For everybody,
of our exactly, and it's not a lack of not having
you're
good
not special
nurses
treatment because
or
you're
good
from
employees
registered.
or good doctors. We have great healthcare professionals here. Okay. The problem is if they don't have the supplies and the resources, what can we do?
Well, you asked a good question, and I like how you put it. We could all bring the conversation to the table without personal attacks, and you challenge. And although you right now you working for the government,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you will have to officially at some point resign. Would you
No, I
or
have
take
to.
leave?
I'm
Take leave.
already on leave. I'm already on leave.
Okay, all right.
Although I'm
So,
not a official candidate, yeah, I'm already on leave. But
and
yeah,
that's the right thing. That's integrity. But what I'm saying though is this: just because a person, this general,
mm-hmm,
is an employee of the government,
mm-hmm,
it doesn't mean you can't point out the problems. You don't have to blame any political party. You don't have to point the finger at any elected public official. Just bring the issue. Great
right,
minds talk about ideas. They don't need to go down that nasty level slinging on that. And I said, I put it out there. Any candidate that slinging or allowing their supporters to do that, they definitely block and put on my B list. Blacklisted. It's not necessary. It's a choice. And then with the issue with the other race, I find that is going to be a tough decision for me because again, I see good candidates.
well,
I see so many good
I'm gonna
candidates.
ask you. Yeah, I'm gonna let the other callers come in. I want you to call me back. I have a question for you. Okay.
Okay,
All right. So
all right,
listen out for me.
thank you.
Okay.
No
Thanks.
problem.
Bye. Greetings, John. Keep in touch.
Yes, Liz.
Yes.
Happy Sabbath to you.
Greetings. How are you?
Good, good, good. I was not able to make it, but I heard a lot of good raves about this soup sale.
I thank you. Yes, we did well, and
Yeah,
that soup went down. I ate all kind of soup that day, and kalaloo. Oh goodness!
yeah, what's that?
And I'm gonna tell you all something while you mention that quickly, and I'll let you get going.
Okay.
Y'all come to me. Some of y'all don't eat pork and all of these kind of things. Let me tell you something. Crucian kalaloo comes with seafood. It come with pork. It come with the whole works. Eh? So when you say you want kalaloo, that's what it comes with. Now, if you say you want seafood kalaloo, then you will get it without the pork, right? But
All right.
seafood kalaloo ain't a real thing, eh? I'm just letting you all know. We made special accommodations for you all, but that's not a real thing. Crucian kalaloo come with pork, it come with crab, it come with all kind of thing. That's it. That's how it goes. Okay? All right.
That's how I know it to be.
Right. I know, but you
And
know
let me
things
tell
are a
you,
little different now. Things evolve. They got coquito that look pink and green and like that. So I got to be clear when I talk, eh? But we don't got the real deal. Okay?
thank you, thank you. Let me tell you something. If you gonna give me callaloo and then get crank bush in it and callaloo bush
Mm-hmm.
and a heap of pork, pigtail, pig ears, pig everywhere. You know what I tell you?
I'm telling you.
I suspect it's because I didn't get over. I found myself eating, well, I'll put it this way. I had from Wednesday, Wednesday to Tuesday, I had some beef soup.
Okay.
Then Friday, I had some goat water.
Okay.
Then this morning, I had some bull foot soup.
What is this? Well, you mean that you going down the menu?
Yeah, well, that's the kind of thing I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had no callaloo yet, but I'm going by a Jamaica place in a while.
Okay.
Okay, in West Palm for make callaloo.
Wow. I didn't know they were making callaloo over there.
Who are you kidding? Man, let me tell you something. I got a daughter in Houston. But she took after her mother, God rest her mother. But that lady could have cooked and she teach her daughter them to cook. Are you saying you talk about cook, callaloo, cold water, cold head soup, all kind of thing. Now I see some people that make what you call not bull foot soup, the goat water. They don't make goat water like they're making mutton soup. Mutton soup is mutton soup.
Right.
Goat water that thick, heavy broth.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, who don't know, but I know you would know because you would know a lot more.
Well, I grew up around all the good cooks, eh? All of them.
Yeah, you've been in this thing from before you were 2 years old.
Man. And on top of that, my mother was a boss cook too. They could tell you she didn't play.
You're telling me?
Boy?
She always said to me, she said, son, you know the way a man had a sweet stomach? I said,
My
no.
son, I tell you, they see her, they want to know, hey, how that woman get Mr. Hansen? Boy, she could have really put them on a pot. Mm-hmm.
I want to tell he that a grudge he. But hey, he got a good woman, he's still a good woman.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He said nobody like his wife. Okay?
Yeah. Right. But let me get to the subject I called about this morning, really. Well, the first call. Every year around this time, I just go on all stations. I've even bought time on radio stations to do this because I believe it's very important to speak to the children and to also speak to their parents and guardians. Graduation time is supposed to be a happy time.
Yeah.
A glorious time. But we can't let down our guard. We got to be very careful. Let me tell you something. 2 young people that I know, when I say I know them, I don't friend with them, but I know them, I know who their parents are, died. The one young lady, she graduated from high school. She was accepted to several colleges and universities. And she was on I-95 heading to one of her college classes. My God, this man called the devil. Make she hit an embankment. But far from there, she was still good. And she attempted to get out of the car, I guess forgetting she was on an interstate where people will be going a zillion miles. And her vehicle to pick up. Jesus, God, lick her to pieces. I mean, it's so sorrowful. So sorrowful. I mean, when you see big man cry, you say, man, man don't really cry. But I see man balling.
Yeah.
Understand? The other one quickly was uh he was supposed to be graduating next week. So they
Mm-hmm.
were going to what you call you know you go to practice with a thing, how you want to say that, how you want to do that, how you want to
Right.
march. And just outside the venue where the graduation was going to be held,
Josh?
he gets in an accident. I don't know what. He ran into the back of a dump truck that was up. And the whole front of that car came in
Okay.
to meet the back of the car and crushing him in the middle.
Oh my gosh.
God. Oh my God. I mean, it's so sorrowful. So the reason I start with children and friends around this time, you have to be very careful. Yes, you want to jump up and have fun and a little carefree, but there's a thing called satanic forces out there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see nothing good for people.
I try to tell people all the time, just as much as we believe in God, there is a devil, you know.
Exactly.
And so you really have to be in prayer.
People.
You
I
know.
mean, this guy was supposed to be, I mean, they call him all kind of, they call him a scientist, even though he ain't graduated yet. The guy is so brilliant.
The
As a matter
potential
of
in
fact,
him.
the claims say he's not, what is it? Well, a prodigy is one that comes like every 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is, what do you call it again, man? I mean that you're very bright, but I can't remember the name right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he has surpassed that and he got to the prodigy stage.
Yeah.
Civil engineering, mechanical, I mean the guy is so brilliant. And by God, demonic forces didn't know.
Yeah.
Demonic forces didn't know.
Well, I have to let you run. If you could always call us back. I'm trying to
Yes,
get
yes,
these calls
I'll
through.
call that. Yes,
Okay, great.
yes,
Thank you.
for sure. But
Greetings. You're on Keeping in Touch.
Yes, good morning. How you doing, our
I-
future senator?
Man, I am standing. Yes. How are you?
That is so good. Good decision that you have made to run for the Senate because we need a strong young senator and other younger ones to
Mhm.
come out and run for the Senate and make a change because you need an opportunity to show what you want to do and for other senators, whoever is elected, to work together for our community.
Yeah. Well, I
And
appreciate
also,
that.
I want to congratulate all the students that graduated from
Mhm.
complex, from our different schools at Central,
Yes.
for the new year. And it's kind of like looking at it is very nice seeing a lot of our young people keeping up and doing what they have to do to graduate, which
Mm-hmm.
now I just see what's going to be the next step with so many young doctors graduating and our job situation in our island.
Oh, yes. Yes. The opportunities, you know.
And I also wanted to mention that I wanted to speak about our hospital
Mm-hmm. Go right ahead.
because we have been rolling years trying to discuss what's going to be our next plan for this future, which is your future.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with other senators to help with our hospital, our mental health that needs a lot of help? We need a mental facility. What would you do different?
I would absolutely seek out a university that can partner with a university of the Virgin Islands and get ourselves a real hospital. You know, right now Wangui is in a mess, and we have a center over there. We have stimulation center in UVI right now that could have easily been a clinic for us. You know, I don't understand why we don't see a sense of urgency in dealing with our mental health. our seniors, our hospitals. I mean, this is the basics of what we need in necessity. What another thing I would have done is I would have had, in addition to having a university partner with UVI to have a real hospital built, is then have a campus where we can also have a senior center attached. We know that seniors need a location to have recreation. They also patronize the hospital frequently, clinics and so forth. Similar to what Cleveland Clinic did, they built a whole town around healthcare. This is something St. Croix have land knocking dog. We could do the same thing here. We definitely need to stop ignoring the mental health situation. The veterans that came back and fought for our freedoms that are left on the wayside, you don't have the right resources. Why they have to leave whenever they need something? If you're not stable or stabilized here, you can't get on a plane and leave to go anywhere. And I think it's going to have a eureka moment when one of these individuals that can afford to fly out can't fly out, and they have to deal with what all the rest of us are dealing with here, to understand that this is something they need to address from yesterday. Why are we building a morgue a distance away from the hospital? Are we going to be charged now to move a body from the morgue, from the hospital to the morgue, from the morgue down to a funeral home? Is that what we're doing? Well, what's the plan? I'm not clear on many of the plans that we have. I just see decisions being made. I don't see any tangible, real life addressing of any crisis here. Power, healthcare, any of that. I remember we had Hugo. We were functioning under a tent, and it seems like we did better then than we're doing now. I shouldn't get phone calls from workers at Wang Lui telling me they're being threatened if they talk up about the working conditions at Wang Lui, they are going to be terminated. We living in some third world country that people can't speak up to make sure that we maintain a good quality of health in the Virgin Islands. This is unheard of, and the behavior is something that I feel is very insulting, number one, and detrimental to our community, where we can't even speak up when we see wrongdoings. Well, when people have to donate food to the hospital because they are not buying food to give to the patients. This what we live in real time, and nobody has nothing to say about it. We have legislators that have oversight in every part of the government, and I'm not hearing this outcry. UVI is telling us that our program for our undergraduates to go to school for free is going to be shut down, and I'm not hearing any outcry about it. And as a parent of one of those students, I have a big problem where I think that there is a multitude of students that don't have families that can jump and go get something out of a savings to pay $995 for one course at UVI, just haphazardly, and then being told that if they don't give all the money for the semester, they can't attend. That is disgraceful, especially when you have a law in place that says that they're supposed to cover these payments and have the money in place. They have a funding source, and they just decided they didn't appropriate any money for our young Virgin Islanders to attend the University of the Virgin Islands. This is a slap in the face to all Virgin Islanders, whether you attend or not. That should be there, ready to go for our students. But again,
That is exactly
no,
because
nothing.
in the United States, those kids be getting a lot of these different kind of help to go with different programs to go through to school, and especially with our job rate in this island.
Well, the
We
thing
have
is, you
all
telling
these
young
students
people,
that just graduate.
you're telling young people go to school, get great grades, go to college, and then and knowing that you're shooting them in the foot because they can't afford it. You're telling them go and get training, but then you're telling them if you're a UVI student that you can't get any funding to go to get a trade at the trade school. Why? Because you decided that you wanted to get higher education that disqualified you from getting a trade. Make it make sense.
Exactly. I remember years back, when my sister was studying to be LPN,
Mm-hmm.
and this was years back. I can't remember. She got a good bit of years now. She's LPN. She's pursuing her RN now
Okay.
in the States. They had through labor a program free for us LPNs, free. And she went through that program. But now I don't know what programs they don't have. I don't really know what kind of programs. But right now everybody that is running for the Senate,
Mm-hmm.
and for Congress and for governor, what is going to be their plan for all these kids that are, if I'm going to say these new graduates that are very smart, to put in place for our youngsters, because where they're going to go and work if they have to work?
The thing is, you're saying you don't have enough nurses, you don't have enough teachers, you don't have enough tradesmen, electricians, plumbers, and all of this. But you're making it harder for them to attend, although you have the money to pay. How you could sit up there as a legislature and not appropriate the funds or any location, whether it's the executive branch or whatever, that you didn't think that this was a top of mind situation where you would go ahead and mention, hey, this is a problem. And I have an issue with UVI waiting 5 months or so before they everything crash to or less than 5 months to say that we haven't gotten our appropriation. So this y'all didn't think this was an emergency, that you're gonna have a whole slew of students that utilize this program not be able to attend to finish their degrees? You didn't think about that? But then you're telling them you need to go to school and get a degree to work. I mean, it's just blowing my mind that we don't have common sense. Common sense.
Yes.
But that's the world we're living in right
I
now.
agree with you.
We then hurricane season is upon us again. What I mean, shelter in place, but you don't have a roof. We building all of these schools, but we have not created shelters while we're in a high prone hurricane area. We don't have hurricane shelters. This was things that were priority to us before. Now it seems like this is optional. How is it optional? We have to secure the safety of everybody on our shores. We need to have hurricane
That's what
shelters.
they're getting voted for, to secure, to make sure that the people of the Virgin Islands are secure with the hospital. They're spending more millions of dollars than shipping away people. Every time they have like if they have skull fractures, whatever the situation is, it's like it's in a mess. This thing needs to be fixed now.
How about how much money they're spending to send away inmates, right? How much money we spending to send away people that have mental illness, when we could have already built a facility? And how much times and how much money we have been spending to send away young people that have disabilities, when we could have created a facility here? And we know, based on statistics and research, that when people have mental illness, when people have all kind of ailments, it affects them even more if they're not in an environment they're used to, if they're not close to family. And we still continue throwing money and sending people away never to return. This is a problem. We're spending all this money for inmates to live on the mainland. And I wonder who's really paying attention to that, because I've heard some horror stories about some inmates that have been sent away that have died on our watch, because there's still our inmates that were sent away. Nobody talks about these things, that we just throw people to the wayside because we feel like they don't have a say, because they don't have a vote, right? Because we feel they're poor, right? And they have no power. Meanwhile, these are your same Virgin Islanders, Your same community members. Anybody could end up in a jail. Anybody could
Yeah, because
fall ill with mental illness.
a lot of people want to go and be in the Senate. So it's easy to go and be in the Senate and try to go in there. But what are they going to do? Whoever wins, and I pray you win because you have had your mind clear and enlightened to all these situations that we are having with these youngsters, with our hospitals, our schools, and we need to get this addressed. We just don't want to give people a paycheck to go and sit down over here and blah 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 blah. Don't do nothing.
Well, I think at this
We need
juncture
action.
we need action, and we can't wait for another set of years to try to figure it out. We are already in crisis mode. I think that it is clear to me and many of us out here that we can't wait one more year to try to figure it out. And I tell people all the time, people have been trying to get me to run for the Senate for years. But here's the thing. I needed to be ready and be studied, research. I was trained, yes, but there's more than that. You have to have a heart for this. You have to be clear that when you put yourself out here to be a senator, that it is a major sacrifice that's going to affect everything about your life. You don't get to say you can't talk about my child, you can't talk about this and that. That comes with it. And you have to be in a place mentally, physically, to be able to deal with the battles. And now I am ready to deal with the battles. Now I have made it clear to my family that this is the focus, that all of them are going to have to make the sacrifices that come with being a part of this, because it's not just you, it's everything about you and everything attached to you that becomes a focal point. The threats and all of that. I lived it. And my biggest fear was having to put my children through something like that. But my children have been taught from very young that this is part of who we are. Don't think that they weren't getting it because the grandmother and the grandfather were well known, and you get all kind of things come your way. People only think about what they think is the sweet. Well, let me tell you something. Many times, me and my siblings had hope that we didn't have this life, because it's not as easy as people think. When you can't ride a school bus because people threatening to kill you as a little child, that's not easy. So I had to get my children prepared. I had to pray about it. I had to get myself prepared, because I know I'm not going to take this as some game. I could not be the daughter of Esdel Hansen and Chucky Hansen and go put myself out there not ready, and make a joke of something that was my entire life. I can't do that. So yeah, it took time, but now I'm at the position where it is it. I am not going to be compromised. I'm able to step forward knowing what I'm going to meet and deal with it as it comes, and not be deterred based on some petty something or somebody's ego. You have to be able to function. You have to be able to function despite what people say or and talk about,
Exactly.
and not be distracted, because you have to understand what distractions are. And I feel like we live in an environment now where people are easily distracted. They're going to talk about your mother, your father, everybody under the sun, who you're dating, all of that. That comes with it. You can't stop working
Exactly.
for the people because you get back somebody say you have on red today, you have on blue, your shoes look this. I mean, come on. We have real issues. This is people lives on the line. People lives on the line. You know it is not to be able to climb stairs and the elevator isn't working. I mean, I wonder if people really taking it in. You can't get
Right.
certain resources, but you don't have the money to catch a plane and leave. And don't forget, a lot of people use Spirit Airlines as an example that we just lost, right? To when they had emergencies, to jump on a more economic source of transportation to get to where they needed to go and get health care. What are you gonna do now?
Right. And sometimes, it is very hard because I notice too that sometimes when they do these kind of things, they have different issues why they send them away because it's different issues of gunshot or maybe illness or stroke or different
Mm-hmm.
issues. But sometimes they have people that they have sent away that have kids that they have to leave behind because leave them in the care of someone to go away.
Well, a lot of times they can't afford to buy an extra ticket. If you have to buy $1,000 ticket in an emergency, you can't bring your 2 or 3 little kids with you.
No,
You can't afford it.
possible. Possible.
Mhm.
And I just bring in so much of my Senator Elizabeth Watley Hanson that this hospital be addressed, be equipped in the way it's supposed to be equipped for
Mhm.
our doctors. Because I know we have good doctors. We got good doctors. But if they don't have the equipment to work with,
Mhm.
to do surgery or to do, whatever they need to do. Because we haven't had a head trauma doctor for rolling years here. They
Right.
need to be shipped away because we don't have none of these facilities here in the Virgin Islands.
We had a top
You know,
cardiac
and-
center. We ain't got that again. I don't know what to say. But I'm gonna have to let you
Yeah.
run. But thank you so much for sharing here and keeping in touch with my people. Don't be a
And God
stranger.
bless you, and I hope that everybody look into everyone that is running because we can go and vote for anybody, but we won't vote for nobody that going over there to sit down
Mm-hmm.
and ignore all these things that are happening in our Virgin Islands because our Virgin Islands need a lot of help. It's a beautiful place. It's full of
Absolutely.
history. For we to let it like that.
Correct.
And God bless you and bless the whole family and God bless all of us and everybody in the Virgin Islands. So at least we could start seeing a big difference here in our Virgin Islands.
Thank you, and God bless you too, and keep your family.
You take care.
You
Love
too.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Greetings. Keep it in touch. Greetings. Keep it in touch.
Greetings again.
Yes.
I know you had a question for me, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time because
Well,
want to
yes. Let me
express
jump right
themselves.
into it. So we saw the turning in of the petitions and so forth, and we started seeing the vetting process from the election system and so forth. I noticed for a few individuals, their fallback plan was Congress, right? The Office of Congress. It was kind of curious to me for a few reasons. Number one, I think that the position is very important, just as important as all the others. But being our representative in Congress is something that I think that people would think through thoroughly before they ran for that office. And so to see it look like a fallback, I was quite curious as to why people thought that. I mean, from the outside looking in, I don't know if this is what they were really thinking, but that would be a okay fallback to run for Congress because for some reason they could not run in their original um, office segment. So you're disqualified for this, you're running for that, or for some reason, whatever happened for governor, you're now in the congressional race and so forth. I was wondering what you thought about that kind of decision.
That's a very interesting question. I thought about it. I said, I know every election cycle, there's the usual controversies, conundrums, and confusion.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, several candidates took the cake. I mean, like, really? some pick up nomination papers for one political party,
Uh-huh.
then pick up a certain set of nomination papers. One pick up nomination paper the same day, the former AG,
Uh-huh.
and then decided not to file, which is not
I mean, that's
unusual.
their right not to file, but
Yes, but
mhm.
I think this is the first I'm hearing that. The same day you pick up, the same day you don't file. So it's telling me that some people haven't really thought out what they actually wish to do. They don't have a clear plan. They
Mm.
don't wish to serve with purpose.
Okay.
Because this is something you don't just really really decide one day, you know, I'm gonna run for this or that. You plan. You plan ahead. I mean, it have to be a decade, but I recall the with this current governor, the night elected governor, Honorable Albert Bryan Jr., long before the race, his supporters were out there at Carnival.
Mhm.
So I was like, people got to know him.
I think that he was
Regardless of
very
how you,
clear that he knew his plan, I mean,
yes,
years before. So he was very
years
much
before, he had a
determined to do
definitive. He
right.
knew clearly this is not something they last minute. Let me try my luck. Maybe not to try your luck. Yes, popularity does play a part. Familiarity.
Hmm.
I see a few names I never heard. I don't know the involvement in the community. I
Hmm.
met a few people for the first time, and they appear impressive. I don't know them. I don't have any preconceived notion, but it's a small community, so most of the names so far I am familiar with. I don't vote for people I don't know, number one,
Hmm.
but you could convince me with an effective campaign. I
Yeah, I
could
was
get
getting
to
ready
know
to
you.
tell you, even if you don't know someone's
Yeah,
name,
I could
depending
get
on how
to
they
know you.
campaign. Right.
And then
Correct.
it's my responsibility as a voter is to verify the information, the background information, because the supervisor election, her role specifically is to qualify candidates or disqualify candidates. And for those who on the board of elections don't get it, I guess you'll never get it. There's no confusion there. Act 8690 clearly defines the role and responsibilities of the supervisor of elections.
Hmm.
So a person decided for whatever reason they're not going to run what they originally intended to run for, I think should come out and speak to the people, be direct. Why you change your mind? Those who change to decide to they don't want to run no more as a Democrat. Why do you change? What's your reason? I'm just curious
Hmm.
because you might consider again for those who disqualified and those who never filed.
Hmm.
You may have that political ambition, but those kind of things form impressions on people.
Correct.
That it tells me, and I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, correct me.
Hmm.
That you're not serious. This year you're treating this thing as a mockery of democracy.
Well, it could be a few things. They could be serious. They just don't know how to go about the
Well, that's
process.
it. They have to
Need
tell me.
guidance, and that also leaves an
Getting mixed
impression.
signals. I'm getting mixed signals. So I don't know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I don't want to assume, you know.
Hmm.
And so you tell me, but I just look at it from my perspective. I think it's a serious decision. You should have your family support that helps, and you should be prepared to be scrutinized. You'll be in the under a microscope.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, of course, you have your private life. I heard somebody say they should tell you what kind of tissue they use. I'm like, are you kidding me? I could care less.
Well,
I'm just like,
I think this is a different environment. I've grown up in this. Like I tell people, I wasn't even 2 years old when my mother ran for office, and so I have seen politics evolve. And what people complain about now, to me, isn't a big deal. Um, like I said, I've lived through the time when people were threatening to kill you, and they actually attempted to do it. So this thing about who you're dating and all of that stuff, that is what under the bridge. When you think about people trying to take your life, because you're
Mm-hmm.
fighting on behalf of the people. Um, we as a family, I could tell you we've gone through many, many things. And I think I'm the only one in my family who's actually told the public that these things happened to us. Because it wasn't something you spoke about. You just dealt with it. But the reason I'm mentioning it, it's not because I'm looking for any sympathy because of it, but I'm just letting people know these are the things that come with putting yourself out there to
Mm-hmm.
represent the public. Nothing is off limits. Although we want to live in a world where people wouldn't come and attack your children and your personal life, they definitely would. I mean, let's go back to Obama being president. Although he had a presidency that was not tainted with scandals, they called him down just because he wore a brown suit or beige
Oh,
suit.
I just read from
You
their
know,
paper that say Obama was the first Muslim president. I'm like,
oh
that's
come on.
supremacy talking.
Yeah, but again, when they cannot challenge you on your work ethics, your
They
moral
make up
standing,
lies.
they make up anything. And that comes with the job. You don't get up and every day you harp about people talking about you. You're supposed to know when you become a public figure, they come in for you. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
is off limits. I told y'all right here on Keeping in Touch, there was a particular senator that accused me of pulling a gun on him. A lot of people didn't know at the time that he said that. I was only 7 years old. I'm not thinking about no gun, right? But he was trying to pressure my mother into supporting a bill, and she was against it. And so he decided that he would create a narrative about me to try to taint her. And people that didn't know me know how old I was. Up to this day, people ask me about that. I'm 41 years old, and people asking me about that. But
And
again,
the
that followed me throughout
legendary,
my entire life.
the
So
legendary Alisa Shetty Hansen was a tough cookie.
yeah, and the thing was, she was uncompromised. There was no way, and I tell people all the
But she
time,
could have been a kitten too, you know. She was so compassionate. Okay?
and
She
that's the
was
part
so
that a lot of people
compassionate.
probably
Could tell.
didn't know. But yeah, she will fight down to the ground for people, and afterwards she'll offer you a lunch. You want to eat, you're hungry, you think, and never judge you for coming at her. Even if you bashed her before, you could still come and ask her for help, and she wouldn't turn a blind eye to you. That's how she was. So the thing is, we have to get out of our own way when it comes to egos, when it comes to the personalities and the pettiness. That is what's holding us back as Virgin Islanders. I worrying about what neighborhood you come from, who your father is, who your mother is, who this one sleeping. It's
Your sexual
irrelevant.
orientation.
Yeah, I mean
I'm like, that's
irrelevant.
none of your business. If the person choose to
Well, here's it.
identify
Here is the
themselves to
thing.
the world a certain way, I looking at character.
Well,
I
here
am
is the
looking
thing.
at
When you become a
integrity.
public figure, whether you like it or not, everything is their business. And if you come in knowing that they're going to scrutinize you from the tip of your toe to the top of your head, you should be okay. That doesn't mean you're inhuman and you're not gonna feel it. Of
I know,
course.
but people make assumptions, is what I'm saying. If the person didn't tell you anything about the sexual orientation, they didn't
Well,
discuss it because it's not relevant. They're
well,
running on record, they're running on the character,
well,
and
here's
I
the thing.
believe certain things
Uh-huh.
could not, but you know it happens. It's the reality. We know that.
Yeah,
But
it
I'm
comes with
just
it.
saying, facts can be verified. And all I'm saying
The
is,
thing is
I'm going
this
to
when
wrap
you're
up
talking
because I
about
know other people want
hold
to
a
talk.
thought. The thing is, it is their business, and I'll tell you why. That doesn't mean I'm a proponent of it. I have
Mhm.
lived through it myself as a child of a government official, the child of a senator. The thing is, it becomes their business when you are a public figure. Our president having stability in his household affects the way his mental status is when he makes decisions on our country's behalf. We can't, it's not like he can separate who he is um, inside the house and outside the house. And that's why a lot of people judge our public officials based on their partner, who they're married to, the things they do in their private lives, because it can affect their decision making. So I'm not going to say that they're wrong for that, although I think these days people lead with that kind of behavior. Okay, they make that their focal point of their decision making, and oftentimes it's irrelevant, and they're trying to slander the person based on that because that might not be their pick. But we have to know, when you put yourself out there, that comes with it. I should not have that you can't function in your job and your duties to the people at the Virgin Islands because you concerned that they talk about who you dealt with to your child or something like that. We expect you to be human as well. So yes, you could get angry about it, but I still need for you to be clear-minded and make a sound decision. And if you don't have the backbone for that, this isn't for you. And that's my thing. There are some people that are very sensitive, and from the time you tell them you don't like the t-shirt, they got it for you for the rest of your life, your children, your grandchildren, because they don't like my t-shirt. Come on. Why we have people dying?
Yeah, you're a public figure.
Yeah.
And people look up to you. And
Correct. You're supposed to be the guiding light.
Your personal belief at certain things you put aside. For example, President Obama, a family man. No scandal at all. Family man.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful wife, highly intelligent, and two beautiful daughters.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
He did not make a law. There was a Supreme Court ruling and gay marriage, which he endorsed, because you have to put aside maybe your personal belief of certain thing and what's in the best interest of the public.
Right.
So to say two people of the same sex, because there's a difference between sex and gender, two people of the same biological sex shouldn't be married. And not the dumbest reason here is that they can't make children. That mean that you get married to make children? Can't two people love each other simply because of love, which conquers all? Because the same things they can do without a marriage certificate is what others are doing. But the distinction here is this. It's for civil liberties and to protect your loved one. Insurance. If you love somebody so much, you want in the event of your death, the person is protected, they have your pension. That's love. And doesn't matter whether it's the same sex or not. And that's not for me to say I am promoting homosexuality, because I get attacked on that all the time. And I mean, like, I'm just saying, I believe in human rights. People should have the right to love whomever they wish. They're not infringing on your constitutional rights. But you have some people will be out there bashing somebody because they support equality. And they saying I'm a rapper soon with, I mentioned about eventually transgender women may want to do womb transplant. Well, I was just looking at it from a scientific point of view. Because recently I heard for the first time a woman was able to give birth from a womb transplanted from a deceased. Okay? So I was just looking at it scientifically. Well, I'm going to wrap up and say everybody has a right to their opinion. If you are eligible voter and you haven't registered, go register to vote. If you are a registered voter and you're on the inactive register list, fix it. And just listen to all the candidates and commend all of you who threw your hats into the ring, and let's respect each other. And it's a choice. You go to the polls, you vote for whoever you wish. Nobody needs to insult your intelligence and tell you who's the best choice. So I'm just wrap up with that. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Greetings, John. Keep it in touch.
Yes, look.
¿Qué pasó?
Yeah, I wasn't listening all the time, but the last caller, not the last one that I listened to, a female, was making some very good points, and to which you responded appropriately. Now, you, like myself, have been asked often, repeated times, to run for public office, for myself to run again, because I served on the Board of Elections for 4 terms back in the 80s. I tried the Board of Education, I didn't get in. Governor King put a team together, I didn't get in on that, a team of senators. And I started to mount a campaign for the delegate to the House of Representatives, but then I abandoned that after, and I was told by people, and I end up knowing it, I was spending too much money too early.
Okay.
Anyway, I am a firm believer that nothing happens before it's time. And I believe in your case, this is what has taken place. There was no rush for you to become a senator just because maybe you're not because, but your mother was one, and maybe you need to ride on her coattail and her popularity and do it right away. No. You waited, and I'm sure you what we would say, you not appeal to, but you reach out to your God. Because I don't know how some people have just end up and do things without getting guidance from the Most High. If you ask him, he will tell you, he will show you. Maybe you don't want that for you. He wants you to do something else that maybe could help more people.
Right.
But I believe that in your situation, this is your time. Not because for you or for your family, but for the people that you not can help, will help. If anyone that aspires to higher office, I'm getting there just to have something on the resume for the curriculum meeting. And I was a senator, I was a governor, I was a delegate. To me, that's foolhardy. You do that and to say what? What are you doing by it? For it. Anyway, let me go by saying this. I've been hearing some rumblings. You know, people say a lot of things, a lot of it. Some of it is true. Not all is true. But I've been hearing that the governor has been saying, I heard a lot of them talking about what they're going to do when they get in there. I ain't doing how the hell they think they're going to get to do. Governor, I hope that's not a true statement. And I urge you to come out and say that stuff. Because then you'll be making yourself look terrible. Not just for making the statement, but because who has more than you, sir? Billions of dollars. COVID, 2.5, and what school, hospitals, and other things that you build, sir? But continue to find excuses. I don't know. I am not per se a perfectionist. But anything that I do, I have to see results. It can't just be self-gratifying. I mean, as I said, I made a lot of money in my life. Who made me make it is God. Me make that my own. I squander a lot of it for which he's not pleased with me. But I help a lot of people. I was talking to somebody earlier this morning, and they reminded me that, why you don't speak about the things you have done for other places? I said, like what? In Totola, budget out of the electricity corporation. Yes, I did. You have also given them the formula to build their first public housing development. Yes, I did. But I didn't see the need for me to talk about that. But I mean, this thing should come naturally. Why? I ain't gonna build public housing for me. The government is to build public housing. I'll build it for them. You know, so why hide certain things that you're gonna help another place to do? And I'm going after saying this because I already commit that what I am not allowed to do in the Virgin, I will do anywhere else. And that's just the way I am. And that's one of the things I was talking about this morning about warning the children and grown-ups and parents and guardians to be mindful of what is out there in the universe. It ain't nothing good. 700 people in the Florida area alone drown every year. Babies coming out to the back door, the mother right in the kitchen, I'm gone in the pool. When they look over the child drowned, dead. Or boat accidents. And I know about boats. I've been dealing with boats for years. With my brother, we used to raise boats with Eddie brothers.
I have to let you wrap up so I can get somebody else on.
Yeah, that's what we were into. So the point I'm trying to make is that you don't hide nothing under a bushel. The very Bible tells us that you got a talent to hide it under a bushel. And again, live this is your time and you will do well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Greetings. Keep it in touch. Greetings. Keep it in touch.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I am standing. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. This is the first time I'm calling. I listen to you every Saturday.
Well, thank you for that.
What you're saying. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm pleased with what you're saying. I listen every Saturday. I don't call, but I listen. And I'm pleased with what you're saying. And I'm glad to know that you're going to put your hat in the ring and you're a young person. I'm looking forward to seeing the things that you're going to help us, especially the seniors, because I'm a senior, with. And your mom has touched many people's lives, and I'm one of the persons whose life she has touched, me and my family. So I'm glad to know that you're going to be there, somebody who cares about us and wants to see our Virgin Islands go forward. Thank you so much. God bless you, and continue doing the work you do.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. I have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Yes, numbers here, 340-773-0390, 340-773-0490. Good day to all of you streaming. I'm trying to keep up with you. Elijah, hi, nephew, how are you? D Night, good day. Darwin from Tatola, cuz, good day to you. Let me slide it back. Tony Lewis, greetings. Patricia, James, good morning to you. Pan Bush, good morning. Malik Williams, greetings, cuz, all the way out there. Elaine Hansen, greetings. Annette Evelyn, Michael Evelyn, Linda Brooks, greetings to you. Yes, Naomi Maynard. Lord, I'm trying not to touch this. Jeff, let me see. I'm missing Jeff Miranda, greetings. Oh, Lord. You see when I touch this? Yeah, but yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so greetings to all of you on StreamYard, Facebook. Yes, there are many issues that plague us, but it's nothing that people aren't dealing with in other jurisdictions. We know that the world is topsy-turvy right now, and if one thing I would like to say is that they call us resilient for a reason. You know, we have gone through many storms, and when I say storms, I mean we have gone through the ringer in the Virgin Islands and have not just survived but thrived. And so I am not one of those people that thinks like, this is the end for us. It's just the beginning. And every few years we have revitalization moment where we come together and we just boost and thrust forward. And I want to be a part of that process. I have been one that have been encouraging individuals to come out and put themselves forward if they know that they're ready, if they can deal with what comes with this, if they have the skills and the knowledge needed and necessary to help our community move forward. You know, I sit back and I reminisce on my life experiences. And oftentimes I was the one that was, you know, my my mother would take me everywhere, right? And so I think my mindset was, you know, I often think about the fact that she would teach me things without me knowing I was being taught, right? And sometimes you have to do that with children because then we don't want to have anything to do with it. We didn't want to be involved. But she sparked an interest in me from a very, very early age. She didn't leave us behind. She didn't leave us at home. Oftentimes, if you saw my mother out there helping people in wherever neighborhood, we were in the car somewhere or right outside the person door, so they had a little privacy. But we were always around, and so we saw that hard work and that partnership between my mother and my father. We saw the support group and godparents, family, friends, and loved ones. Um, it was the community helped to raise me and my siblings um, because we had to be a part of it, you know. Um, and I think that's what encouraged me to even want to participate. I ran away from it for many years because I just, when you're a young person, you long to just be normal and blend in. Um, and then as an adult, I realized that that just was not in the stars for me. I would always be Estelle Hansen's daughter and Chucky Hansen's daughter. And so I can't run away from it. And I don't want to, at this juncture, run away from it because now I understand the responsibility that I have, as a community member, as their daughter, as somebody that cares about this community. I could not sit here today and say that I would just go run off into the night, just pick up whatever job somebody offered me because it was a well paying job, although I've been offered many jobs, you know, um, for various things. Um, I have a background in everything from healthcare to bioterrorism to contact tracing to criminal justice. Uh, there's so much things, epidemiology. And one thing for certain for me is it could never just be about money because one thing I know about this job all too well is it's a thankless job. And really, if you care about what you're doing, you shouldn't be looking for thanks, right? We should be doing this out of how we feel about our people. We should be doing this out of our hearts. You know, I mean, when you talk about salaries now, when my mother was first elected as a senator, they didn't make much of anything, So to put it in perspective, when you're working around the clock every day in and day out, you know, um, you have to have a heart for it. You have to understand that no matter what, when you take that oath of office, it means something. And I don't, yeah, when I tell people I waited because I don't take that lightly. To see your parents sacrifice your entire life for something and then willy nilly jump into it just because you feel like you have a place based on the legacy of being, attached to that, I think would be um, not only insulting to the people of the Virgin Islands, but it would definitely be shallow on my part. And so I'm willing to put in the work. A lot of you say, oh, you use Chucky data, so this and that, and you wouldn't have to do much. And I don't care about that. What I care about is that I'm going to do it how I know it's supposed to be done. So whether it is 1,000 people running or just 7 people running, I'm going to put in as much work as is required because I have respect for the voters of the Virgin Islands. There is no way I'm going to ask you to put me in a position where I am representing you and not come and have a conversation with you, not open up myself to meet you, be accessible, to be able to hear your plight. Although we know generally there are issues that all of us deal with, I have to be willing to do that. And if I'm not willing to come out, I'm not willing to campaign, I'm not willing to work for it, then I shouldn't get it. And so for me, I love being able to come out there, being able to be challenged and asked the tough questions. It comes with it, and I look forward to it. And to be quite honest, I love it because you have to remember, I am you know, I am a baby of politics. So this is what I have been around since I could walk. So I um I like being challenged. I love it, to be honest. I love, I remember my mother always saying, girl, you're going to be an attorney because anything we tell you, you to come and ask and question me up and thing. And actually, I intended to go to law school and I decided to stay home to help my mother um, with her legislative role because we had discussions about it, and she wanted me to be able to work with her in researching, um, different topics to help home. And so I decided that I would not go to law school and I would stay home and assist her in being her chief of staff and chief researcher to make sure that we could best represent the people of the Virgin Islands. Um, and so, ironically enough, I had wanted to work for her for many years, and she kept saying, "You ain't ready, you ain't ready." And when I had lost interest in doing that uh, and wanted to go to law school, that's when she said, "You're ready now. You've gotten the training now. You know how to do statistical research and all of that. You've now gotten your schooling. You've been around enough. I've trained you to this level, and now you're ready." And I was like, it took all of this. I mean, I'm old now, in my mind, I'm thinking I've been around this thing since before I was 2. Now I'm ready, but let me tell you one thing, that job was not an easy job. When I tell you my mother was a workaholic, and you could say all of what you want about, oh, well, work is from 8 to 5. No, 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 no. Not when you work for Chucky Hansen. And you're the daughter? Oh, no. We going down to the ground. You got a problem down there. We going down there. It's 9 p.m. It's 12. It's 3 a.m. We going down there. Here, this and that going on. I hear a got fire. This woman will need a place for she and her children to stay. We got to go and get them groceries. We got to get emergency housing. We going down there. Something wrong with these people water, the power. And it just never, ever stopped. Right? Even coming here and being on keeping in touch, and setting up to dedicate this time and initially saying, oh God, I need a break. I need to at least have a weekend. And she's like, break? What break? Listen, this is real life. We don't take breaks. And it's funny now because now that she's physically gone, I made a decision to keeping in touch because I understand the importance of people having real information and access, people actually listening to what they have to say, being able to clearly communicate with people without the distractions. And so, although initially I wanted the breaks and I wanted my Saturdays, and I didn't understand I was being trained to be a radio host or a TV personality or a production specialist or a marketing specialist or any of these things, a promoter, you know, being able to understand the way people tick because I didn't separate. My parents did not raise us in a way where we were separate from anyone else. I remember when my younger brother was murdered, I was told by a pastor why he was in Williams Delight anyway. People like you ain't supposed to be in Williams Delight. And that was the worst thing I could hear. Um, and especially from a pastor at that. And what made me angry was this is coming from someone who is supposed to understand that it doesn't matter where people come from. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you grew up in. All of us are important. And for him to tell me that made me angry because I thought you have to be a real fake pastor to try to tell me that my brother should not have even been in that neighborhood because he came from a different group of people, a different class system. When I remember walking through these neighborhoods, to include Williamsville, Chabot, Kennedy, I learned to play steel pan in Kennedy. I played baseball. I went from Wim to Scion Farm to Canigata. You cannot tell me that I can't go in any neighborhood in any part of the Virgin Islands. I walked through Savannah, 11 o'clock at night. We walking and campaigning. Don't ever, and I'm making this clear to everybody right now. I don't care what neighborhood you grew up in, how much degrees you have, what family name you have. Because if the world ends today, you don't get to say, oh, hold on, Jesus. This neighborhood over here, we good. Take them. You don't get to say if a storm happens, avoid this house on this side because these people, we get money. And this side over here, they could go. We could replace them. No. And if that is how you really think, I am very ashamed of you. And if you're a clergy member and you feel like you differentiate who you giving blessings and prayers to based on how much money they have in their pocket, you need to look for another source of income and another work because that ain't for you. So this idea that somehow somebody's beneath you because they grew up in a quote unquote project housing community is very ignorant. I grew up going everywhere with my parents. And when some of you ask me, why you think that Chucky Hansen had the longevity that she had, it's because she didn't judge people. Because she knew all too well that at any point in time we could be on the ground with nothing, mentally bothered, something wrong, your health, whatever. You could fall. The higher you up on the ladder, the farther you have to fall. So be careful how you treat people, the things you say, the things that you do, because it will come back to haunt you. We talk about karma. This idea that because you could get 10 degrees and somebody probably couldn't afford to get one, that somehow we are supposed to bend on our knees for you. Please. Because some of you have degrees, and I'm not sure if they just gave it to you because you don't act like you earned it. You can't write a straight sentence without chat GPT. Many of you. Thank God for AI because you cannot function without it. So miss me with all of that foolishness. This thing about insulting voters and saying, oh, they voted because you give them fried fish, a Johnny cake, and a chicken leg. Please, please miss me with it. Because a lot of you have given them fried fish, Johnny cake, and chicken leg, and you still didn't win the election. So stop insulting people. These are the same people that have worked their behind off so that you could have what you have now. You talk about who don't have degrees. You had teachers, you had educators, you had people that trained you to do things. They didn't particularly get to the level that you got to in their education. But you can write better than them. You ain't know your math better than them. Somehow you can't even read numbers. But you're talking down to people. You're talking down to people that bust their behind to give you what you have now. And while you sit in your positions, you have decided you're going to close the door behind you, right? You're a government employee, so you got to go and leave. But then you are sitting in the seat, you don't have to take leave. You go campaign, you've been campaigning. We've been watching. Yeah, you're campaigning on government time, using government resources, allegedly. So let's be real. Stop speaking to people as if they're ignorant because they don't agree with you. Basic respect, we could agree to disagree and move on. But we're getting so nasty with everything. We want to talk down to people because of what tax bracket they fall into. We want to challenge them and question them because they didn't go to the same schools that we went to. Some of them walked their fingers off so that their children could get to go to college. Y'all see a failing program, nobody wants to say anything. And if you're saying something, you ain't saying it loud enough because we ain't out hearing it. Because I know I just went to UV and I spent a whole lot of money. A whole lot. And I know not everybody could do that. You gotta put this aside to get that. The other day, they're telling me, okay, this insurance doesn't cover this medication anymore. You have to switch. Okay, but we paying more for all these things. Make it make sense. My father is a combat veteran. And if he wants real assistance, he has to leave the Virgin Islands for medical care and so forth, to cover the cost of medications and so forth. So what happens to those who cannot afford to leave? These are the things that we should be thinking about, not what color t-shirt you have on and who you're dating. So I just letting it be clear that what I am going to be pursuing is not just because I feel like getting a title. I could have gotten many titles. It's not about money because we know there are a lot of jobs out here that pay a lot more money. It's about investing in the home that invested in me. It's about wanting better for the generations that come after me because those that came before us sacrificed so much for us to have what we have now, and we shouldn't take it for granted. These are the things that we need to be thinking about. Lesser of all of us. Those who without food stamp can't eat. Those that when the schools close, They don't have any food to go home to. Let's think about things like that and stop worrying about the pettiness and who got his name and all of that other foolishness is irrelevant. One day the karma is going to come at your door, and I hope you're ready for it. If you have this nonsensical idea that chickens don't come home to roost, you have a rude awakening to come up to. But we're almost at the top of the hour. We're going to run a commercial.
Greetings. I am Elizabeth Hanson Watley. A senator not only controls the purse strings of the government, but advocates on your behalf when you need answers. Schools shuttered, unaffordable utility bills, poor health care, lack of resources for seniors, veterans, and the disabled community. We all know the issues. And unlike those who claim that you vote just because of fish fry, I know that you vote based on the good sense God gave you. I am stepping up to represent you as your senator. Please join me on election day. Push! Elizabeth Hanson Watley.
Yeah, so we're at the top of the hour. I want to thank you all so much for joining me yet again here. Thank you all so much for supporting my soup sale. Like I said, on Friday, we'll be out there around 5:30. Just come out, hang out with us. We will have soup available. For those of you that kept calling me, I mean, I don't have all the different soups because that wasn't the plan, but I have something for y'all. Come out, check us out, make sure that you're able to get to learn and know these aspirants. And I wish everyone well. Have a safe weekend. Until next time, this has been Keeping in Touch with My People. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hanson Watley. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Here we go. All right.